You see, what we truly are belongs to no one, belongs to no thing. It doesn't, what we truly are, doesn't even belong to our body minds. What we truly are, it's the same for everybody. But then again, it's not for anybody, because it doesn't belong to anybody. So what we truly are, in some ways, is like air. It's here, there and everywhere. For what we truly are is consciousness. We've all said, or we've heard it said, be conscious. Be conscious of what you're doing. Well, the eyes are always conscious of what it sees. The tongue is always conscious of what it tastes. The nose is always conscious of what it smells. The ears are always conscious of what it hears. So it seems. The fingers feeling and the feet doing its walking. Consciousness doesn't belong to any of those faculties. Consciousness is free. Attention is free. Attention doesn't belong to this, that, or the other. However, mind deceives us. So we look at something and then mind gets involved. The chit-chat of the mind deceives us. We buy into it. We're a victim of our chit-chat. We're not all that nonsense going on in the head. When the hands are functioning, housework or do some office work or whatever it needs to do, the hands functioning, picking up something. We don't have to make mind while we're doing whatever it is we're doing. Simply, easy to say, be consciousness. Just be an observer. But participate. Consciousness is, if you like, God. Consciousness is, if you like, the witness position. Consciousness isn't separate from anything. Consciousness is what universally is already the case. Consciousness was never born and will never die. To live as consciousness, we are liberated. In fact, we are already living as consciousness. But the mind deceives us. The mind is always deceiving us. If you like, it's the devil. It's illusion. It's not real. The orange isn't inside your head. The apple's not inside your head. But that doesn't mean as consciousness we're not allowed to think. we can think. Think of an apple. Think of an orange. It's very subtle when you consciously think of something. It's not just happening to you. You intend to have that thought. I can see in the camera, in the iPad here, what's behind me. And so can you. But we often imagine what's behind us, or what's in our past, or what's going to happen in the future. But we don't realize it is simply imagination. It's not real. Consciousness, when lived as consciousness, is liberating. Consciousness is not a belief. Consciousness is not even an actuality. Because consciousness is not the opposite of something. When we are living as consciousness, which we already are, there's a sense of restfulness, homeness. You're at home. I like that word, isn't it? Homeness. Has that ever been said before? Homeness. There's a stability. There's equanimity. There's balance. There's stillness. There's forgiveness. There's compassion. There's tolerance. There's patience. They're all the God, the God-like or qualities, the God qualities. So we aren't living as consciousness much of the time. And when we are, we aren't aware of it. Consciousness, as I said, liberates one. But to become, if you like, daily consciousness, although it's gracefully given this disposition of living as consciousness, we can aid, we can assist by realizing that attention is free to go anywhere. As long as we keep putting attention on the body-mind and becoming a victim of the body-mind, we'll have a destiny of unhappiness, suffering, delusion, non-intimacy, a destiny of repetition, a destiny of me against you, of competition, a destiny of I am right and you are wrong, a destiny of small r reality, personal reality, as opposed in opposition of other people's personal reality, which is a war. So we can assist this liberation of living as consciousness by redirecting our attention. And for me, I've been doing that for many years. And I've been redirecting my attention towards the Satguru, Alidar Samraj. And that's been my main focus, or alternative focus, because he's enlightened, he's a liberator, he talks sense, and he lives what is known as, what has been referred to as open hand disposition, rather than clenched fist. The ego is the clenched fist. Me, separate existence. But the open hand is the divine disposition. And Alidar has simply said, turn away from this, turn to this. Keep turning away from this. And as he represents, as he has been the agent for me of the open hand disposition, and because that's what I've been attracted to, I have become liberated from this much of the time. I have the means to be liberated from this. So I can be simply free of unhappiness, discontent, so-called problems and anxiety and fear, and live a life of love, which was my childhood desire. Going back to the beginning of what I've been talking about, it's already here as consciousness. It's not in the future, it's here right now. You could be living as consciousness right now. All you need to do is to see everything in your room, including yourself if you're looking in the mirror. See everything as everything is. The stool, the cello, the plant, the candle, the bin, the rug, the pictures, the grapes, the tissues, the ball, the ornaments. But to see it all without any mind, without any separation. And then you see everything as a modification of consciousness. And as Alidar has said, once you are seeing, once you are consciousness, you see there is only God. That is what God is. Consciousness. And everything is a modification. Because everything is light. Everything is the same. It's all light, but in different forms and guises. But we have to be attracted away from this. You have to have a heart intention to awaken to what you truly are. Be consciousness. So surrender. Surrender your attention, even your feeling attention, to that which is always already the case, which is consciousness, light, freedom, love, bliss. These are all the qualities of consciousness. The quality of water is wetness. The quality of fire is heat. The quality of ice is coldness. So the qualities of living as consciousness is, if you like, automatically love, bliss. So you don't have to strive to be love, for you already are. You don't need to strive to be made happy, for that's what you truly are. Already the case. Be consciousness. What is there to be realized? Page 316. See what they have to say. What is there to be realized? There is no internal self or soul within, and independent of the body-mind. The individual body-mind is a modification or a play of the infinite spiritual and transcendental divine being. So all body-minds, if allowed to be, are vehicles of God's play, of the divine play. It's an expression. Right now, this is an expression of God. Due to the self-contraction, we keep preventing God from living the body-mind. This is what he says, the body-mind itself, in its contraction or recoil from the universal patterns of relations, suggests or implies the subjective internal self. So we go inward and we have that sense of being separate, and we make this imaginary assumption that we are the body-mind, and that we have a soul, and we need to be saved, and we need to be made happy, and we need this, need that. Get more and more confused, and we need religions, and we need friends. Etc., etc. What is to be realized is we are alone. It's a fantasy. So this activity of the self-contraction creates an avoidance. So we are never really intimate with our surroundings. Though we are, as consciousness, as our true self, already happy and already intimate. There's an intimacy with all of our surroundings. But we do this act of the self-contraction that avoids, that separates. Then there's a me and an object. I'm against the me and a you. I've got to prove myself. You've got to prove yourself. You've got to feel that we are loved and liked and approved of. is an endless battle. You scratch my back and I scratch your back mentality. It's endless. Endless. No one can ever be fulfilled and completely satisfied. It's not going to happen. It just isn't. So we have to realize, if we wish to, we have to realize something greater. And that's got to interfere with all of these egoic, contracted patterns and tendencies that we dramatize from day to day, minute by minute. So we need to rest in consciousness. We need to lay down in consciousness. We need to make that our home and take it here, there and everywhere. For consciousness is omnipresent. There's nothing that's interfering with consciousness other than this act of self-contraction. And it's not necessary. I don't need to do it. I still do the self-contraction. I'm aware of it, and I go elsewhere. I turn away from it. Turn away from all those creepy crawlers. And simply be happy. Easy to say. It's a practice. It's a lifelong practice. And then other lives too, if necessary. Be purified of these egoic, horrible and ugly, selfish tendencies. That's what our lives should be about. Being transformed by grace. Thank you for listening.